Welcome into Varsity Sports Nation, Game 3 of 4 here at historic Sanford Memorial Stadium in Sanford, Florida. Once again, my name is Conrad Volch. Thank you guys for tuning in all day to watch some baseball here for the Florida League High School Invitational, the Classic Tournament here in the year of 2026. We've entered the semifinal rounds for teams looking to earn the right to play for a championship. Flagler Palm Coast is in their white pants, black jerseys with green arm sleeves. Lake Minneola is in all white. This game is a rematch from last week, back on March 13th. Lake Minneola took the victory by a score of 2-1. That's been their only matchup since 2005. But Flagler Palm Coast has not allowed a single run during this tournament. They shut out IMG Silver 7-0, and they beat St. Cloud 5-0. They gave St. Cloud their only loss of the season, or their first loss of the season, I should say, as they they're currently losing to Apopka 16-9 in the top of the 7th. That game taking place at Sperling Sports Complex out in DeLand. Seminole is still hanging on against Eustis in the bottom of the 6th. Game is 4-3. As hit towards the shortstop, throw to first is in time. One away.
Back to play the catcher, Nolan Ultima.
Nolan Bultima to bat for Lake Minneola. It is inside, strike one. So Lake Minneola squad is the only team out of the 4 in the semis to advance to a Florida League Tournament Championship game. They faced off against Mount Verde Academy in the showcase last season. Mount Verde went on to win. But the 3 other teams have yet to make it in. Flagler Palm Coast, a regular team in this tournament. The 1-2. Swung on and gets past the second baseman. And that'll be a base hit for Baltimore. So that'll bring Jackson Wasaki will run it first. Maddox Baltima to bat. Maddox committed to Santa Fe Community College. Part of 7 Hawks with commitments to college after high school. Low and outside, ball 1. Wind has stayed consistent all day, mostly shifted more towards between first base and home. They've been in right field most of yesterday. As they check over to first. On the mound for Flagler Palm Coast is Nick Pandick, number 1. Pandick, a 0 ERA pitcher, 2-0 record this year. 3rd appearance this season. This will be popped in the air for strike one. So 2 balls, 1 strike. Another check over to first. Trying to keep Baltimore at first and not to give him any ideas about trying to sneak down to second. Bounces up to the shortstop. Toss to second for 1, down to first, not in time. So a fielder's choice there for Maddox Baltimore. And 2 away.
At the plate now, the shortstop, Fabian Antonsanti.
Fabian Antonsanti, the Stetson University commit. Drove in 17 runs in his first 10 games this season. Good enough for top 15 in the state of Florida. Runner goes, but the ball comes out of the catcher's glove. So runner in scoring position for Lake Minneola. Down the middle for a strike. Evens the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Antonsanti is a dangerous ball player for this Lake Minneola squad. In their game against Pembroke Pines Charter yesterday, he hit a triple and a single and scored a couple of runs. Was actually part of the only 2 runs that were scored in that game. It's trying to prevent Maddox Baltimore from going anywhere but the base. Swung on, stopped by the pitcher, has to hurry to throw to first, and he got him. So 4 batters come up, 3 outs recorded. Flagler Palm Coast will get their shot when we return here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. Flagler Palm Coast turn. As Marion Clayton steps to the plate. Another dangerous hitter. That 7-0 victory against IMG. He started the game off with a solo home run. So we'll see how the pitcher for Lake Minneola of Dylan Montrell handles that. So far pitching away from him. Evens the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, staying away from that strike zone. They know what he can do, and they want no part of that. Flagler Palm Coast's last 3 victories have been all shutouts. It's fouled off for strike 2. Last game where they won, where the opponent scored, was back on March 9th against Christ Church Academy. They won that one 7-2. And swing and a miss, strike 3. So that'll bring up Noel Hemmerly.
At the plate, right fielder Noel Hemmerly.
Hemmerly also had a home run in their game against IMG Silver. And that is stopped by the first baseman. Throw to the pitcher, and that's out number 2. Quick ground out, and there's 2 away. Carson Fliss batting third.
Carson Fliss.
And that is fouled off. Carson Fliss against St. Cloud. Didn't have too many numbers to show. Just a strikeout. But it didn't matter as they took down St. Cloud 5-0 as he swings and misses for strike 2. Montrell with those bright yellow shoes on the pitching mound. And they blinded the batter. Drop third strike. Doesn't matter. It's a strikeout. 2 of the first 3 batters for Lake Minneola go down swinging. Well, into the second, still nothing here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. Top of the second here. Lake Minneola against Flagler Palm Coast. Leading off for the Hawks, Malachi Myers. His first at bat today. Sees that outside for ball one. And on the mound for Flagler Palm Coast, Nicholas Pandick. And is swung on and fouled off for strike one. The 1-1. Framed, but outside the zone for ball two. In the dirt, ball three. Lake Minneola, no stranger to close games in this tournament. They snuck a win at home against Lake Howell. A couple of those games were hosted at Lake Minneola because of the rainout on Monday. That drops in for strike two. And their game against Pembroke Pines Charter, they snuck that one away, 2-0. Gets tapped down the first base line for foul. Myers had one hit in the 2-0 victory against Pembroke Pines Charter. And he'll make a connection, and it'll drop in left center for a base hit. Both these teams trying to play the wind.
Malachi Myers at first base, center fielder, now batting number 15, Colson May.
As Colson May steps to the plate with one on and nobody out here for the Hawks. Down the middle, strike one. A little bit warmer today, temperature-wise. Up to about 65 degrees. It's 47 at first pitch last couple of days. It's in the low to mid-50s for game one. The 1-1. Check the runner at first. Myers makes it back safely. That's ball two. Swing and a miss. Strike two. And close that time, but the hand of Myers hit the bag before he was tagged. Final score update. So Popka takes down St. Cloud 18-9 out at Sperling Sports Complex. Gets tapped up. Throw to second for one. Back to first, and they got him. Double play. So that'll bring R.J. Martell to the plate with nobody on and 2 outs. So St. Cloud, they started the season 13-0, and they've dropped their last 2. As that is swung on and missed. Seminole and Eustis has entered extra innings, as Eustis was able to tie it. And that is in the top of the 8th. One ball, one strike. That goes up to the shortstop, and he'll zip it over to first. Out number 3. Still no score. Flagler Palm Coast trying to break the tie when we return on Varsity Sports Nation. Back here in the bottom of the second, Jordan Gonzalez leading things off for the Bulldogs. You'll see that one drop in for strike 1. Just outside the zone for ball 1. So on the mound from Lake Minneola, Dylan Montrell, brother of Brady Montrell, who was on the team last season that went all the way to the Showcase Championship. Did so well, he was named Pitcher of the Week. You can see Dylan standing very tall on the mound. Got those yellow cleats. This is batted down to the second baseman. Short little throw to first, and that is out number 1.
Now batting the left fielder, Tyler Bonenkamper.
Tyler Bonenkamper bats for the first time today. Takes that first pitch for a strike. Swung on, caught by the third baseman and tossed to first. First baseman had to do the splits, but pulled it down anyway. Seen a lot of balls slip through the third baseman's area, but not for R.J. Martell. Two batters gone. Paul Bowen steps up to the plate. Outside, ball one. Swing and a miss. Strike one. Drops in for ball two. Two balls, one strike. That is hit into center and easily pulled in for out number three. 3 up, 3 down in back-to-back innings. Still no score. Lake Minneola batting in the top of the third when we come back. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation here in Sanford, Florida. Tristan Clausen getting the party started here in the third inning. Swing and a miss for strike two. Actually, they say it was a foul tip on that one. And this trickles up to the shortstop. High throw, and it goes awry. So he'll round over to second. As Clausen, perfect example of routine play, anything but. That'll go down as an error.
At plate, the second baseman, Brandon Rupsey.
So Brandon Rupsing comes to the plate with a runner in scoring position. Score updates. Seminole now leads Eustis 9-4 in the top of the eighth out in Lyman. The 0-1, showing bunt, pulls back, called strike. No balls, 2 strikes. Here for Rupsing. Swing and a miss, strike 3. First strikeout tossed for Nick Pandick. And that'll bring us back to the top of the order. Chase Doherty. 0 for 1 with a ground out. And not a bat-friendly day, as the wind is right at the batters' faces today. As time is called by Doherty. Swung on down the left field line, and that is fair. They're waving around the runner, down to the plate, he is safe. Coming home from second, Tristan Clausen to break the 0-0 tie. So Nolan Boltema steps to the plate, 1 on, 1 away. Down the middle for strike 1. And that run made possible off an RBI double. But even more importantly, an errant throw to first base that allowed Clausen to stay safe and extend it up to second. It's the first any type of points allowed by Flagler Palm Coast this tournament. That rolls up, going back to the pitcher for out number 2 at first base. So Maddox Boltema hit into a fielder's choice earlier. Another potential run 90 feet away for the Hawks. Inside, ball 1. The 1-0. Swung on into left, and that'll be caught for out number 3. Hawks able to take advantage of some Bulldog mistakes. They lead 1-0. Flagler Palm Coast will have a chance to answer here on Varsity Sports Nation. Nick Pandick, the pitcher, leading things off for Flagler Palm Coast here in the bottom of the third. Pitch comes in high and inside for ball one. Make that 1 ball, 1 strike. Two balls and 1 strike. This time evening the count at 2-2. Pandick, a .303 hitter. 10 hits coming into this game, 1 RBI, a couple doubles, 5 runs scored. And that is fouled off. Fouled off once more. And time is called by Pandick. They say he did not go. Ball 3. In the dirt, ball 4. The pitcher will go take his base.
Now batting the shortstop,
Kyle Gordon comes to the plate. Got a runner going down to first base for Flagler Palm Coast. It's number 12.
Your attention please, running at first base,
Kyron Pinnick will sub in for Pandick. And the bunt is laid down. And the throw down to first is not in time. Not in time. Runners on first and second, nobody out for the Bulldogs.
at the plate, second baseman,
Brody Youngman comes to the plate with 2 on and nobody out. Batting just under 100 this year. Trying to knock some guys home. Showing bunt here. Lays it down back to the pitcher. He'll throw it to third, and he's out at third. So they take the risk and throw it over to third, and it's 1 away. Fielder's choice there for Youngman. And we'll head back to the top of the order. Marion Clayton, the Jacksonville University commit. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. But he also has a home run in this tournament, in this stadium. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Outside, ball one. Swung on, gets past third base. They're going to hold the runner at third. Bases loaded, one out. As Noel Hemmerly comes to the plate. Just one out, base is full. As Flagler Palm Coast attempts to at least tie the game. This was the first time this tournament that Flagler Palm Coast allowed a run. It outscored their opponents 12 runs to nothing in 2 games. Shut out IMG Silver 7-0. Shut out St. Cloud 5-0. Currently down 1-0. Lost to this Lake Minneola squad 6 days ago, 2-1. Down the middle for strike one. The 0-1. And that'll hit the batter, and we're tied. Coming home from third, Kyle Gordon.
At plate number 21, Carson Fliss.
And we'll have a mound visit by Dr. Kerry Wettrow. We'll be right back here on Varsity Sports Nation. Back here on Varsity Sports Nation, bases loaded, one out. Carson Ellis at the plate. High and inside, ball two. Or Carson Fliss, excuse me. As the catcher will go talk to his pitcher, Montrell. And that is hit back to the pitcher, throw down to home for one. Over to first is not in time. Another one's going to sneak home. The play. Ball is away. And it's 2-1. Insane. And Coach Wettrow wants an explanation. So the two umps come together and rule that the runner was safe at first.
Jordan Gonzalez at the plate.
Jordan Gonzalez comes to the plate with 2 away and 2 on base. 2 runs scored by Flagler Palm Coast in this inning. Gonzalez swings and misses for strike 1. Pitch is low for ball 1. As a ball from the Minneola dugout, or the bullpen, rolled into the field of play. One and one. Swing and might have got a piece of that, but either way, strike 2. If you happen to notice that lead off from the runner at second, it's the deepest one we've seen all tournament. Outside ball 2. It's the Bulldogs' way of trying to plan for a ball that lands, try and sneak 2 runs home here. High and inside, ball 3. But we could just as easily have a bases loaded situation again off of a walk. Anything's possible. And now they're trying to pick off the runner from second to third. Throw down to home is in time. So after all that, Flagler Palm Coast gets 2. They lead 2-1. Wild third inning. We'll go to the 4th. Fabian Antonsanti to lead things off for Lake Minneola here in the 4th. Three combined runs in that third inning. As Antonsanti sends this into deep center. And center fielder for Flagler Palm Coast, Clayton, runs underneath it to grab it. Hat even flies off too. As that brings in Malachi Myers with one away. Myers 0 for... No, he's not. 1 for 1 with a single. Take that outside, ball 1. Matchup between these two teams 6 days ago ended 2-1, except Lake Minneola was on the winning side of that 2-1. This game a chance to get a berth into the Classic Championship game tomorrow. Only team out of the 4 in the semifinals that has made one is this same Lake Minneola squad last year in the showcase. That is fouled off by Myers, making it 2 balls, 2 strikes. Game out in Lyman has gone final. Seminole takes down Eustis 9-4 in the 8th inning as Myers sends that into center field for a base hit. Two at-bats, 2 singles for Myers as that brings up Colson May to the plate. So with that victory for Seminole, that concludes all the games at the other 2 locations at Sperling Sports Park and Lyman High School. Just this game and the Martin County Lyman game coming up at 6:30. That pitch drops in for ball 1. Foul tipped for strike 1. May hitting .435 on the season with 20 hits. And one of their more dangerous hitters this year. Hit into a double play in his last at-bat. And will sneak it past the third baseman for a single. Puts runners on first and second for Lake Minneola.
At the plate, the third baseman, R.J. Martell.
So R.J. Martell comes to the plate with 2 on and 1 out. Throw back to second. Oh, that one was close. Very close. Youngman just barely bobbled it. Probably would have gotten a pickoff at second. And that'll be a hit by pitch. Bases loaded here for Lake Minneola.
At the plate, the first baseman, Tristan Clausen.
So Tristan Clausen will bat, but we're going to have a pitching mound meeting currently. We'll be right back. Back in action after the pitching mound meeting. Bases loaded, 1 out, and a swing and a foul tip there for Clausen. Has a run scored, got to base on an error. The top of the third. And good job securing that by the catcher for Flagler Palm Coast. One and one. That is hit into shallow right center. They wave one run, they're waving another one. The throw to third is not in time, and Lake Minneola regains the lead.
At the plate, the second baseman, Brandon Rupsing.
It's our second lead change of this game. Brandon Rupsing. With runners at the corners, still only 1 out. Swing and a miss. Strike one. That gets hit up to the third baseman. Throw to second for 1, down to first. Not in time! Coming home from third, R.J. Martell. Four to 2, Lake Minneola.
Number 11, Chase Doherty.
So Chase Doherty comes to the plate for the third time today. And Flagler Palm Coast hadn't given up any runs in this tournament before this game. They've given up 4 in 3 2/3 innings. Runner goes to second, ball sneaks into center. And Rupsing secures the steal. 2 2 the 2 2 the 2 2 the 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 The 0-1. Show bunt, lays it down. Going to be close. Throw to the first is in time. Well, looks like we've got a back and forth duel here between Flagler Palm Coast and Lake Minneola. It's 4-2 as we head to the bottom of the fourth here on Varsity Sports Nation. It's the bottom of the fourth. Flagler Palm Coast finds themselves in a deficit once again. Largest lead for either team is 2 runs for Lake Minneola.
At the plate, Jordan Gonzalez.
As Jordan Gonzalez comes to the plate. Drops in for ball 2. Three balls, no strikes. And that'll be a walk for Jordan Gonzalez. So Tyler Bonnencamper with a man on and nobody out for the Bulldogs. So that pitch drops in for ball 1. Or maybe, I guess not. I didn't see time called. That's thrown for a strike. I just saw the batter back off the base. So for sure we've got a strike. But I guess that first pitch didn't count. Check over to first. And that is bunted straight up into the air and ends up in the stadium. Bounced off the bottom of the individual seats and went up into the stands. Fan was able to catch it on a one-hopper. Count is 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So one away here for Flagler Palm Coast. Paul Bowen to bat for the Bulldogs. Outside, ball 1. Throw over to first. Runner is safe. The 1-0. Just in the zone for strike 1. One ball, one strike. Here for Bowen. And time is called. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And that is just foul tipped. Ball rolls back to the catcher off the fence. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 away for Flagler Palm Coast. This brings Nick Pandick, the pitcher.
Number 1, Nick Pandick.
Ball is tossed over to first. Runner is safe. Shows bunt, registered as a strike. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. As Montreal starting to settle in on the mound for Lake Minneola. Drop third strike. Run down to first, and that's thrown to first for out number 3. Lake Minneola Doesn't allow any runs from Flagler Palm Coast. They continue to lead 4-2. We'll head to the fifth. Exciting game brewing here on Varsity Sports Nation. We've reached the fifth inning here in the semifinal game between Lake Minneola and Flagler Palm Coast. Kyle Gordon is now on the mound for FPC. His first pitch drops in for a ball, as he'll face Nolan Boltima. Boltima 1 for 2 with a single in his first at bat. And that's outside, ball 2. Outside again, ball 3. On deck, Maddox Boltima for the Hawks. Just in the zone for strike 1. And that'll be a walk for Boltima. So we're going to have a runner at first base. This is going to be Jackson Wasaki at first base for the Hawks.
Jackson Wisofsky at first base.
So 1 on, nobody out here for the Hawks. 3-run inning back in the 4th, trying to add it here. Ball drops in for a strike. Check over to first base. Wasaki is safe. That is skied into right field. And that'll be caught for out number 1. So we'll return with Fabian Antonsante. Been quiet today after being part of the only 2 runs of the game against Pembroke Pines Charter. 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fly out. That's in for strike 1. That one hits the dirt before it reaches the catcher. Ball 1. The 1-1. Runner goes, swing and a miss. And Wasaki safe at second. Thought about extra, but put his feet in the ground to stop. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Down the middle, but outside the zone for ball 2. Swung on and fouled. Two balls, 2 strikes. Inside, ball 3. That is skied into right center. It's caught for out number 2, and Wasaki will stay at second base. So this brings Malachi Myers. He's had 2 singles in his 2 plate appearances. He'll have 1 on and 2 retired. And that ball gets through the catcher's legs. And Wasaki makes it down to third. 1 ball, no strikes. Colson May is on deck for Lake Minneola. Swung on and fouled. Strike 1. Low and inside, ball 2. Again, I've been saying it, first couple of games, I'll say it again, wind has been a factor today. Not as many deep balls getting past the outfielders or even leaving the stadium. Back to blowing towards right field. The 3-1. Drops in for strike two. And he got him. Strikeout looking. Score remains 4-2. FPC due up next when we return on Varsity Sports Nation. Bottom five, Flagler Palm Coast down by 2. Recently moved to relief pitcher Kyle Gordon will lead us off. Montrell's pitch comes in for ball 1. Swung on into right, and it'll land fair. Gordon. 2 pitches into the at-bat, and he bats it in for a single.
At plate number 2, Brody Youngman.
And this will bring Brody Youngman to the plate. He represents the tying run at the plate. He hit into a fielder's choice last at bat. Lays down the bunt. Throw it to first. That's 1 retired. Third baseman came up about 7 feet away from the batter's box.
At the plate now, center fielder Marion Clayton.
So that'll bring up Clayton, who, as we know from yesterday, has a heavy bat. Could just as easily send one out of here to tie this game. That'll be hit down to first for a ground out with 2 away. So Noel Hemmerly steps up with man on third and 2 outs. So we're going to have a switch of runner. Saw him earlier. Julius Patton on third base. He'll be in a pinch running role this time. That's in the dirt for ball one. Swung on and fouled. Ooh, what a fielding play there by the coach down at third base. No glove either. The 1-1. That'll hit the batter and put runners at the corners. Still with two out. Second time that Hemmerly has been hit by a pitch. And we'll have a break in the action for a mound visit. We'll be right back. Carson Fliss steps to the plate. Nearly had a pickoff play at first base. Now the runner gets caught in a rundown between first and second. Lake Minneola paying attention to between third and home. Runner still alive. And they tap him back to first. And the run doesn't count. We stay at 4-2. Lake Minneola bench is fired up. Top six. When we come back, what a game here on Varsity Sports Nation. Colson May leading things off for Lake Minneola here in the top of the 6th. And that is blasted foul. Still on the mound for Flagler Palm Coast, Kyle Gordon came in relief. Last 3 innings. Slow roller down to first. That's a quick ground out here for May.
At the plate, third baseman R.J. Martell.
R.J. Martell comes to the plate. In the Lake Minneola bats. Stopping and starting, but that's going to be a hit by pitch. Looks like he took it maybe in the inner thigh area. First base coach for the Hawks came flying down to check on his batter. Looks to be okay.
At the plate, the first baseman Tristan Clausen.
Tristan Clausen. With 1 on and 1 away. That's inside. Strike 1. Check down to first. Martell is safe. Swing and a miss. Throw down to second is not in time. Decent throw, just couldn't quite get there fast enough. Moves a runner to scoring position for the Hawks. And it's 0-2. This is just fouled. A little surprising there on the fielding. Looked like Jordan Gonzalez may have most definitely had a play on the ball if he took off after it. That'd be the difference in 2 away and 1 away. That's high and inside, ball 1. And that's a strikeout. So the move proves to be not as deadly as Brandon Rupsing comes to the plate with 2 down and 1 on second. Throw back to second. Almost got him. That's in for ball 1. Makes it in the zone, strike 1. This time up to the shortstop. Throw down to first. Oh, it's dropped! It is dropped. So more issues down by first. And now it's runners at the corners for Lake Minneola.
At the plate, the left fielder, Chase Doherty.
Chase Doherty. Fourth appearance at the plate today. That gets skied into right center. And that'll end the top of the sixth. Still same score, 4-2. Flagler Palm Coast starting to run out of time. We'll see if they can chip into this lead when we return here on Varsity Sports Nation. Carson Fliss will lead things off for Flagler Palm Coast, down by 2 runs here in the bottom of the sixth. Swung on, straight. Oh, they say he caught it. Didn't hit the ground. What a play by the third baseman.
At the plate, number 20, Jordan Gonzalez.
So Jordan Gonzalez comes to the plate with 1 away. Pitch curled inside by Montrell for ball 1. Just a bit outside for ball 2. Swung and fouled off down the third baseline. As the wind is now right at the face of the batter now, blowing towards home plate. And that'll hit, looks like it hit May in the lower neck, upper back area. And he'll take his base. Second time he's gotten hit by a pitch. As this brings Tyler Bonenkamper to the plate with 1 away.
At the plate, number 11, Tyler Bonenkamper.
So the double play opportunity is available for Lake Minneola. That is hit high and will drop in left center for a base hit. 2 runners aboard for Flagler Palm Coast. So the tying run is now at first. The go-ahead is at the plate. Looks like we might see a new pitcher when we return here on Varsity Sports Nation. Still the same pitcher for Lake Minneola. Montrell. Bowen sends it into center field. And our bases are loaded for Flagler Palm Coast. The tying runs at second, so the go-ahead's at first.
Now batting number 1, Nick Pandick.
Nick Pandick, starting pitcher for Flagler Palm Coast. Has to be careful he doesn't hit into a double play. And now it looks like we'll see a new pitcher from Lake Minneola. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. New pitcher for Lake Minneola, number 16. And a mishandle. It's a mishandle on the hit by Pandick. And it's 4-3. Wow.
Now batting number 9, Kyle Gordon.
So bases loaded still. As we're having a change at second base. This is going to be number 22 going in for Flagler Palm Coast of Reggie Bass.
Reginald Bass Jr.
Bass committed to play at Florida A&M University. One ball, no strikes here to Kyle Gordon. And that'll be fouled off the third base line, strike one. One and one. And that's a hit batter, and we're tied. So now the winning run is standing at, or not the winning run, the go-ahead run is standing at third. As this will be Brody Youngman to bat for FPC. Nicholas Ritchie on the mound for Lake Minneola. 0-1 record, 7th appearance this year. He has one save to his name with a 1.13 ERA. As Kieran Pinnock is now at first base. One ball, no strikes here for Youngman. And another mound visit here for the Hawks. We'll be right back. Well, we've got ourselves a new pitcher. 2 pitching changes this inning. As Chase Doherty moves from his left fielder spot, as this is popped up in the air for a foul and strike 1. Dylan Montrell, who was the starting pitcher, is now over at first base. Still 1 out. As that is framed, but outside the zone. Flagler Palm Coast trailed since the 4th inning, have tied it here. That one is framed in the zone for strike 2. And these 2 teams playing for a berth in the championship game tomorrow. Like Minneola went to the Showcase Championship last year, as that is fouled. Bass and duck out of the way of that. And struck him out. 2 away. Pitch you'd like to have back. And here comes Marion Clayton. Has a home run in this park this week. Just needs to get it away from the infield. Oh, he wanted all of that. Just missed it. Strike 1. The 0-1. Outside, ball 1. Again, this game was 4-2 entering this bottom half of the inning. And that is fouled off, strike 2. Clayton punching his bat and punching his chest. The 1-2. Just outside the zone. Came in low for ball 2. Wind is shifted towards first base again. Low again, ball 3. This is either going to be a walk or a strikeout swinging, I feel like. And a throw down to first, not in time. Three balls and 2 strikes. Swung on, and it is fouled. Had a decent arc on the ball. Trying to get Bass in from third to take the lead. Been 2 lead changes and now 2 ties in this game. Trying to see our 3rd lead change. And it's low for ball 4. Bass comes home from third. And Flagler Palm Coast regains the lead. So Noel Hemmerly sends this one into deep right, and it's going to drop! A ground rule double as it goes over the fence. 2 runs come home. And it's 7-4. Flagler, Palm Coast. Unreal.
At the plate, third baseman Carson Fliss.
So now Carson Fliss with runners on second and third. Still 2 outs. 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th. This is sent deep into center. And that'll go over the head of the center fielder. 2-run RBI single. 9-4 Bulldogs.
At the plate, the first baseman Jordan Gonzalez.
The scoring avalanche continues. And another mound meeting for Lake Minneola. We'll take a quick break. 9-4 is your score. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation, still in the 6th inning. If you're just joining us, this was 4-2 Lake Minneola. Now it is 9-4 Flagler Palm Coast as we see some guys missing on base. Looks like the Bulldogs get organized. New pitcher. A.J. Acosta is on the mound, the Daytona Christian College commit. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Facing Jordan Gonzalez for his first batter. Outside, ball 1. Still to come at around 6:30, Martin County and Lyman will take on each other to play the winner of this game tomorrow in the championship. Martin County and Lyman have never been to a Florida High School Invitational game, championship game. Neither is Flagler Palm Coast, and they're going to say that is just fouled. And the only team out of these four that has made it to one was Lake Minneola last season in the showcase. They fell to Mount Verde Academy. Fun fact, that's where Cooper Flagg went to school for basketball after he left where he lived in the state of Maine. He got drafted first pick to the Dallas Mavericks last year. And even more sports deep dive. Francisco Lindor played in this tournament for Mount Verde Academy, as that's a drop third strike. And that'll end the inning. Well, Lake Minneola went into the sixth with a somewhat comfortable 4-2 lead. They've seen it erased, +5. A lot of work to do. They need 5 to continue the inning. We'll see how that pans out when we return on Varsity Sports Nation. One pitch at a time, one batter at a time, is what I'm sure the coaches for Lake Minneola said to their players. But it starts with Nolan Boltema here in the top of the 7th. Kyle Gordon still on the mound for the Bulldogs. 9-4 FPC over Lake Minneola. 2 pitches, both outside, 2 balls, no strikes. The 2-0. Just in the zone for strike 1. In the zone again, strike 2. The 2-2. And they're going to say that hit the dirt before the batter. So simple ball 3 here. Swung on, fouled. Lake Minneola needs 5 to continue to the bottom of the 7th. If they get 4 or less, Flagler Palm Coast will take the victory. Outside, ball 4. That'll bring up Maddox Boltema with a man on and nobody out.
At play number 27, Maddox Boltema running at first.
Jackson Wasaki takes his place down at first base. Outside, ball one. And Baltimore will get hit by a pitch, and that puts 2 runners on with nobody out. And now Flagler Palm Coast will have a mound meeting. We'll be right back.
At plate for Lake Minneola, number 1.
Fabian Antonsanti will step to the plate. Brand new pitcher, Noel Hemmerly. 1.75 ERA this year, 1-1 record, and this is his 5th appearance as a pitcher. And that comes in, strike one. Strike two. Same spot, both pitches. Just outside, ball one. The 1-2. Swung on and just fouled. One ball, two strikes. Swung on, fouled again. It's in for ball 2. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Out number 1 here in the top of the 7th.
Now batting, number 5, Malachi Myers.
So Malachi Myers steps in with 1 away. Got to be careful that you don't hit into a double play here if you're Myers. And that pitch curls in for strike 1. Just outside, ball 1. In the middle, strike 2. Noel Hemmerly, just as all his strikes have been in the consistent position since he took over. That's up to the shortstop. Toss to second for 1, over to first. Got him! A game-ending double play. Noel Hemmerly comes in, finishes the inning, and after being down 4-2 in the bottom of the 6th, Flagler Palm Coast scores 7 to come back and stun Lake Minneola. And for the first time since the inception of the Florida League tournament, Flagler Palm Coast will be going to the championship game for the first time ever. Coming up in about an hour, our final game of the day, Martin County taking on Lyman for their right to play against this Flagler Palm Coast squad. We've seen 3 games. We've got 1 more coming up around 6:30. We can't wait to see the action and who's going to take on Flagler Palm Coast here on Varsity Sports Nation. Don't go too far. Final semifinal game coming up in about an hour.